welcome to the Shutter Sports Refresh, your go-to spot for the most important news in sports every week. I'm your host, Lucky Roberts, and let's get right into it. We'll kick things off this week with some NFL football as Week 12 is just about finished up. The most exciting of the game this week was the most surprising one. The Detroit Lions against the New York Giants ended up going into overtime against them. The Giants haven't been a good team this year, 2-10 record so far, but their quarterback, Jameis Winston, is known to catch fire every once in a while. He caught fire against the Lions as well, finishing with 366 passing yards and even one reception of a touchdown on a fake play that was a 40-yard reception. That's something you do not see too often as he breaks a tackle in the end zone. The NFL fandom was loving it. The Lions had a miracle of their own though, nailing a whopping 59-yard field goal to send the game to overtime, which is pretty common now. How that's more common than Jameis Winston's play. In overtime, Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs notched a touchdown to secure the game for his team. He finished with a ridiculous 219 rushing yards. The Lions now improved to 7-4 and are looking to be a contender for the playoffs. Speaking of playoff contenders, the supposed playoff contenders, Buffalo Bills, were taken down by the Houston Texans this week. After starting off hot, they've now lost 2 of their last 3 to some mediocre teams. We'll see if they are able to stay in this slump for a long time or able to get out of it pretty quickly, because they might miss the playoffs if they don't. Moving to college football now, the biggest matchup was between number 7 ranked Oregon and number 15 ranked USC. Despite the fact that they were playing some tough competition, Oregon took care of the business, winning the matchup 42-27. Now there's only 3 weeks left of college football before the playoffs kick off, so make sure to tune into the refresh to see how that playoff picture sort of unfolds. In the other news, the third last F1 race of the season went down last weekend, the Las Vegas Grand Prix. The results of this one came with some drama as both McLaren drivers Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris were disqualified after a post-race inspection found that both of their cars did not comply with F1's technical regulations. Basically, their cars were adjusted so that they would move faster. If it weren't for the disqualifications, Norris would have finished 2nd and Piastri 4th, but because they were disqualified, they ended up losing out on a ton of potential points. For those points matter, especially as this season gets to an end with both Norris and Piastri in a neck-and-neck battle for the Drivers' Championship with Red Bull's Max Verstappen. Verstappen ended up finishing 1st in the Vegas Grand Prix, notching him 25 points to Piastri's 0. He's now tied with Piastri for 2nd place in the driver standings, which is just 24 points behind Norris for 1st place. There's only 2 races left, so it would take a miracle, but Verstappen potentially could make a comeback in the driver standings if McLaren keep fumbling with their car. The next race goes down on November 30th, so come back to the refresh to see the results. Now let's do a check-in on the NHL standings as each team has now played just over 20 games. In the Atlantic Division, things have switched up quite a bit from last season. The leaders right now are the Detroit Red Wings at 27 points, followed closely behind by the Tampa Bay Lightning, Ottawa Senators, Boston Bruins, who are all at 26. Surprisingly, the reigning champions Florida Panthers and last year's number 1 seed Toronto Maple Leafs are near the bottom of the division. Looks like there's a new era in the NHL and especially in the Atlantic. The Metropolitan Division, the Carolina Hurricanes currently lead that at 30 points. The Central Division has the Colorado Avalanche leading that currently with a whopping 37 points, having only lost 1 game in regulation so far. They're on a 9-game winning streak and are looking like the best team in the NHL so far. And in the Pacific Division, the fun story of the Anaheim Ducks coming out of nowhere is still intact as they lead their division with 29 points. The Kraken are just behind them with 28. Let's do an NBA check-in as well. In the Eastern Conference, the Detroit Pistons have continued their hot streak and are still the number 1 team in the East. Their winning streak is currently at 12, and they're able to find success even with their superstar Cade Cunningham being injured for a couple of games there. They look unstoppable right now. The Toronto Raptors have also been hot of late, notching 7 wins in a row and claiming the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference. They lost a ridiculous 14 games in a row and counting. The lowly Washington Wizards are in last place in the East. Moving over to the Western Conference, the reigning champion OKC Thunder still have only lost 1 game this season. They have an absurd record of 17-1 and look unbeatable right now. They pride themselves on their historically good defense and are currently on pace to have the greatest season of all time. The Thunder are beating their opponents by an average of 17 points and currently look like they'll take a 2nd straight championship with ease. The Los Angeles Lakers sit behind the Thunder in 2nd place and are looking strong thanks to the return of LeBron James, who was out with injury for the first month of the season. One last quick piece of news, the WNBA draft lottery went down over the weekend and the winner was the Dallas Wings for the 2nd straight year. Last year, they drafted Paige Beckers with the number 1 pick on the draft, and the Wings are looking to be a force to be reckoned with as they can pair another number 1 pick with Beckers. And that's it for this week's episode of the Shutter Sports Refresh. I've been your host, Lucky Roberts, and I hope you learned something today. You can check me, Shutter Sports Media, and our writer for this episode, Finn Noel, right here. Thanks for watching.